So a high school student from Canada in a Catholic high school was eventually arrested because he stated in a high school debate that there are only two genders. He was banned from class and eventually arrested for this. Mind you, it started from women who were complaining about trans women, which are men who identify as women. They were using the same bathroom, and the women felt uncomfortable with this. I'm going to play what he had to say.
Yeah, the entire issue basically started when I moved to the Catholic board. I used to be in the public board, and very quickly I was informed by female students that male students were using the female washrooms. This is an issue that came up in a class debate, and I used that platform to share my opinions, as every other student had the opportunity to do. And I quoted some scripture. I said that there's only two genders, and apparently because there was transgender students in those classes, that was considered bullying.
So instead of offering a rebuttal to an opposing viewpoint like most people do in a debate, you just say you're being bullied and have them put out of class and arrested? Like, what are we doing here? It's like if I was to argue that Jesus was black and white folks was like, well, I feel uncomfortable with that. You got to leave class. It's the same bull that they try to pull when you talk about slavery, and they like, well, it makes the white kids feel uncomfortable. But yeah, it made black folks feel uncomfortable when we was going through it. But that don't mean we don't get to debate and talk about it, though, without you feeling.
And I went beyond the classroom, and I took it to the office, and I said, okay, this is an issue. There's female students that are uncomfortable. Something needs to be done. And I was ignored. A female student made the same complaint I did, and they ignored her as well. So at that point, I decided to organize a protest outside of my school. And 2 days before the protest, they suspended me indefinitely. And then they permanently banned me from two of my classes. And when I attended those classes, they suspended me again and then excluded me twice. And at the end of the semester, on the first day of the new semester, I decided to return to school and try to recover my credits and actually get an education. And yeah, they arrested me.
How crazy is it that you get banned from class and arrested because you follow scripture in a Catholic school? And then on top of that, women's rights are so important to everybody until the alphabet community show up, right? Because they chose to make this community feel more comfortable and included rather than worry about the safety, protection, and privacy of women, especially in somewhere as private as a bathroom.
We know that your lawyer says, and we mentioned that the school is accusing you of bullying transgender students. What do you say to that?
Well, my issue was never with the individual student, and I made that very clear with both on my social media in person and on my media responses. My issue wasn't with the individual student. I have an issue with a system that is going to encourage this form of misbehavior, and I do sympathize with the confused transgender students because they've been wronged by their parents and by society and by the education system that has pushed this indoctrination on them. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm going to condone their wrongful behavior, especially when it's a violation of my female peers' privacy. So I'll continue to stand up.
I know some people may not like him using the word confused, but it is the truth, though. A lot of stats show that when a lot of people going through gender dysphoria grow out of it as they get older. And then as far as the system, that's what we really have a problem with. We have a problem with these schools and these doctors that are pushing this narrative and pushing these surgeries and pushing these pills and hormone stoppers upon our kids and convincing them that they need to do this new thing because it's trendy. It's just not a good look to me, and it shouldn't be something that's legally allowed for doctors and school administrators to do.
Yeah, and also, the school that you go to is Catholic, but transgender ideology is not in line with Catholic teaching. I'm curious, did anybody at the school ever talk about this or teach this in class?
Oh, the gender ideology that gets pushed by the Catholic board is incredible. I had teachers telling me and the entire classroom that male breastfeeding is okay and it's normal and it's natural. And actually, one of the allegations that's being held against me until this day is that I said male breastfeeding is better. So that kind of shows you where the Catholic board's at right now.
Wow. I didn't even know male breastfeeding was a thing, but can you imagine the amount of delusion that has to be going on in this school, in just in the world, period, that they would be teaching this as curriculum to say that male breastfeeding is natural and okay to do. I had to cut out one of the words that he used, obviously, for YouTube algorithm, but yeah, it's...
And what's happening with your education?
Well, as of right now, I don't really have much of an education. They've offered me some online stuff, but I was actually the organizer of the student walkouts across Canada during the Freedom Convoy against the online learning and against the mask mandates and all that. So I'm certainly not going to accept this form of inferior education. So I demand to be in person in class, because all I've done is exercise my freedom of expression. But yeah, I mean, I get a lot of hate messages, and there's a lot of people that hate me, but at the same time, I don't really care. I did what I believe is right and what's right before God. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with that.
Almost out of time, but quickly, I'm curious. I know you retained a lawyer. What's next?
We're taking them to the Human Rights Tribunal, and actually, if anybody wants to help out, they can go sign my petition at libertycoalitioncanada.com, and hopefully that'll help out my case.
And so this is definitely wrong. I definitely don't think he should be kicked out of class and arrested for an unpopular opinion that he took in a debate, especially when it has to do with him peacefully protesting and going out for protection of women students in the class that were complaining about what was going on in the school. Those complaints were ignored. He peacefully protested. I think he's allowed to do that. Especially, he should be allowed to make a point in a debate, whether you agree with his point or not. I don't think it's a place. School is not a place to be muffled in that way. Even if you don't agree, if it's some extreme opinions that can come out of those debates. But I believe that's what you use the debate time for, to sharpen your skills on how to combat those opinions without fighting. You understand what I'm saying? Or without putting people out of class. Like that's not what that section is for. So I believe he should be reinstated in class. And I don't know if the red hat means the same as it does here. Of course, they're in Canada, but he got some of the same talking points. But I'm just gonna say we don't agree on everything, especially if he's with the Trump red hat brigade. You know, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. But on this, I 1,000% agree. I heard Trump say some words about this that, I mean, I agree, man. It makes me eager to see what Democratic candidates are going to have the courage to stand up against this as well. This just shouldn't be going on. This systematic way that they are pushing this narrative should not be. And, you know, the young gentleman talked about he didn't, you know, he was against the mask mandate, stuff like that. You know, I disagree with that. I was with the mask mandate when it went down. But it's just some things, and they say you have to do your best to work together on certain things that you can work together on. You know what I'm saying? And I just take people on. I take my stands on certain things that I feel a certain type of way about. It isn't all red opinions. It isn't all blue opinions. You know what I'm saying? But it's just some things I feel shouldn't be going down. And this agenda that is being pushed as a system in America and apparently Canada as well, it's just, I don't know, it's really ridiculous to me that they're allowed to push these type of things upon kids that aren't at an adult age to make those decisions for themselves. They didn't gave hormone blockers and to 7-year-olds and all this type of stuff. That's nuts to me. That you as a grown doctor or a grown teacher or a therapist should be able to recommend hormone blockers and pills and, you know, surgeries and keep convincing these children because it's trendy that, hey, do you feel that you're not in the right body or gender, or, you know, it's a lot of gender dysphoria going on, but it's because of a lot of things that are happening in this world. And the stats say that most time they naturally grow out of this behavior. They grow out of the confusion of gender dysphoria. This is not something I'm making up. So knowing that, why would it be okay for doctors and therapists to be able to push this these pills and these surgeries upon these kids at such a young age, when it will likely alter and change their life and their life's path forever. You know, that's just, it's not acceptable to me. And I think you should leave that decision to these kids after they have grown up. When they grown, they hit 18 and they had a chance to think about it a little bit, then you let them make decisions concerning something like that that's important, that's going to change the rest of their life. But this is your boy P Camp. Tell me what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.